It's a massive potential market, whichever way you look at it. And the thought of grabbing just a small slice has Western businesses salivating. I'm standing here in the middle of Nanjing Road, which is Shanghai's #1 shopping street. And to be honest with you, it feels almost exactly the same as standing in the middle of central London. You've got iconic brands like Marks & Spencer's, Tesco's down the road, Chanel, Gucci, Armani, all the stuff you'd expect back home, even down to the appalling traffic and the dozens of Chinese restaurants. I know what you're thinking. He goes all the way to Shanghai just for his weekly shop. Well, let me tell you, it's worth it, because whenever I go out of my local store, they are fresh out of eels. Now I know why Tesco calls itself a convenience store. Blimey. Easy, Tiger. In many ways, this is just like a normal Tesco's back home. Here's the coffee, for example, Nescafe, Maxwell House. But if you're after a late-night stimulant, I really wouldn't bother with that end of the market. I'd come over here, where you have what you don't get in your local Tesco's back home. For example, this little jar of magic. Apparently for about £45, a few sips of that at night, and there are snakes, terrapins and some unmentionable creatures that will keep you up in every sense all night long, gentlemen. This is my kind of Tesco's. Back on the high street and you're bombarded by more Western brands, but there's no pound stretcher here. After Japan, China's now the second largest spender on luxury goods. Incredible in a communist state where once everyone wore identical Mao suits.
Barbie, let's go party.
Amongst the names jostling for position in this exploding market is Barbie, the ultimate symbol of Western perfection. This is her first sixth-floor superstore, yet sales of the Oriental version don't come close to the classic blonde-haired pneumatic Barbie, which accounts for 85% of all dolls sold here. And expats are arriving in droves to grab their own piece of Oriental pie. Olivia Van Halle is one of the 150,000 foreigners now calling Shanghai home. What do you do here?
So I'm a trend forecaster, so I predict fashion trends and consumer trends and give advice to brands who are coming out to China.
And in simple terms, what is driving the Chinese mad about Western trends at the moment, would you say?
Their economy's absolutely exploded, and we've suddenly got this huge number of extremely rich Chinese, a lot of whom come from the centre of China. And when they want to spend their money, they want to do it in a way that everybody knows what they're doing. And so it needs to be with big brands that everyone's heard of. They want to, you know, Chanel, Prada, Burberry.
So it's about showing off as much as anything.
Yeah, conspicuous consumption. But
for people watching this, what is Shanghai like? I mean, you're how old are you?
I'm 26.
26-year-old, bit of a sloan. You probably wouldn't mind that, would you?
I'm not a sloan, that's the meanest thing.
Bit of a sloan. And you come over here to set up a new life. What's it actually been like for you?
It's been fantastic. It's the easiest thing. The expat community out here is still relatively small, although it's growing the whole time, and it's so nice to have been able to get away from London. We'll talk about the recession, which we've missed entirely, so I have no idea what's going on.
There's not much sign of recession here, right?
There's absolutely no sign of recession, yeah. I don't think some of the girls driving down my road in brand new Lamborghinis completely kitted out with Hello Kitty would even know what a recession was.
Tell me about the actual living standards here. I mean, what's your life like at home? Do you have help there?
Yes, we do have help. I would say the whole expat community generally on the whole have help. So everybody has what's called an IE.
What's an IE?
An IE, it means auntie.
Who's your auntie?
Do more. Well, I don't have an auntie, I have an uncle.
What's his name?
He's called Jeff. He's
Jeff?
Amazing.
What does Jeff do?
So he does washing, cooking, cleaning, ironing, makes the bed, walks the dog, pays the bills, posts the post.
Do you do
Everyone
anything?
needs a Jeff.
Do you do? I'm sure they do. But I mean, do you do anything yourself?
Yes.
What do you do?
Work very hard, Piers.
And Jeff does everything else?
Jeff, yeah, does everything else. He's super.
She does look massively overworked, doesn't she? Olivia's just one of a long line of Brits who've come here to make their mark. For over 100 years, Shanghai was a cosmopolitan city grown rich on global trade, where expats ran riot.
Anything goes.
This was an infamous city of sin, the Paris of the East, where anything went, until the communists put a stop to the partygoers in 1949. But now the good times are back, and there's a new place in town trying to take full advantage. Bristol-born Norman Gosney, 62, and showgirl wife Amelia, 26, no sniggers at the back, have come via New York to open Chinatown, a burlesque club that's raised quite a few eyebrows at the government Cultural Bureau. Are you, Norman, single-handedly trying to bring the naughtiness back to Shanghai?
Back in the day, in the 30s, there was the most famous of the naughty nightclubs was a place called the Great World. And it had 6 floors going up. And as you're getting smaller as they went up, and they got naughtier and more exclusive as you went up.
What happened at the top?
We're hoping to open the 7th floor.
From what you've gleaned, what was it really like in Shanghai back in the 30s?
I think what everyone's idea of it is what Hollywood sold us. It's Shanghai Express, it's Marlene Dietrich and stuff. And I guess, in a way, what we're doing here is Hollywood's version of that old thing. How was it really back in the day? Ooh, I think it was pretty tough.
I mean, it was completely lawless.
And there was a lot of refugees from all the trouble of the world here, and most of them didn't have money, so they were doing whatever was necessary to earn the money.
There was lots of prostitution and crime and drugs, and it's quite hardcore, wasn't it?
It was a brutal city.
I mean, Norman says he wants to bring back the real naughtiness to Shanghai. Is that how you see your role here, Amelia?
Well, here's the thing, is that there is already a lot of naughtiness in Shanghai, but it's all behind closed doors, and it's
Yeah,
not...
I've been trying to find it, but it's quite sort of...
You won't find it. It's not really geared towards foreigners.
So basically, I mean, you don't want this to be seen as in any way sleazy.
You know, I think 1930s sleazy, by today's standards, is pretty classy.
Yeah.
So I guess we're in that area.
Very glamorous, but what does the industrial face of Shanghai actually look like? Now, when I think of shipping tycoons, they don't normally look like you. I discovered the cutting truth about what it really takes to get a job here before mastering a relaxing pajama art, Shanghainese style. There's nothing like a bit of this to get you through the stresses of the day. Right, Master Chung? China is the West factory, and as a result, Shanghai has become the world's busiest port.